Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing great. It's been about a month since we've connected, so we'll let a few people jump in here. I'm going to go over just some text messaging best practices today. If you guys aren't in the Facebook group, I was talking about this in the Facebook group earlier during the week or late last week, just about how to configure text messaging campaigns so they actually deliver. Seems like a lot of people are having issues. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause myself for a minute. I need to post this link manually in my Facebook group because they actually remove the ability to stream third-party apps in there. So I have to paste this link manually. 1 second. Okay. All right, guys. We should be streaming on all platforms. Everybody will trickle in as they come. I'm going to have this up as a replay too. So, guys, I want to get straight into it. So, right now, text message marketing is my best marketing channel, right? So, I've been doing text message marketing. Really, I started, guys, in like 2018. A lot of you guys probably follow me because of that. I actually built my own text messaging platform back then, and then I got shut down by Twilio, unfortunately, in like 2019. They just shut me down abruptly. But since then, I used so many different text messaging platforms. Aurora was a big one I used. Easy Texting, Text Magic. What are some of the other ones? Yeah, those are pretty much the big ones. Roar, Text Magic, Easy Texting were the main platforms. And I had a couple other solutions. But guys, since the 10 DLC occurred, guys, a lot of people have basically stopped doing text message marketing. It's crazy. Like I sent out an email this morning to my email list. And if you're in the Facebook group, you guys might have saw this thread, but I'll just show you guys just some of the comments I had here. The whole reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is I want you guys to have a competitive advantage, right? I know for me, I love sharing information to people, right? I love sharing information to my audience, right? There's just something in me where I need to. It's part of my birthday profile. I could go over that later at the end because I love talking about that type of stuff. But I just have an urge to share the information that I learned. Like I have to, guys. So I'll always give you guys the good stuff. There'll never be fluff. So I may go away for a month like I did last time. I was working on my own campaigns, my client campaigns and stuff. But when I come back, I usually have some good insights for you guys. So what I learned last month is just really how to tweak REI Reply in a way where it'll actually get the maximum deliverability rates. But guys, a lot of people are having issues, right? We had one person in the group that said they used REI Reply and they had to switch with all the errors and spam flagging on their account. They definitely think they were doing something wrong. They switched to launch control with minimum progress. I never used launch control, guys. Never used it. But somebody, yeah, so they were asking me how much I charged to set it up. But this other gentleman named Nick said he got shut down twice from Twilio. I understand. I get it. Right. They had a custom high level build out. So I know that must have cost a lot. And so the last time they were shut down for over a month now, and they said their partner was pretty much done with texting. He said they were only rolling out 200 to 300 text messages per day, and rolling the number every 150 to 200 texts. Okay. And then another guy said he canceled his REI Reply account a few months back because it was a migraine trying to figure out how to set it all up for compliance. Plus, don't you now have to include opt-out language? Yes, I do include opt-out language with every first text. And I'll show you guys what that looks like on my back end. But he said otherwise he loved the system before the SWAT team came through and they messed everything up. So guys, here's my thing. And if you saw my email earlier today, one thing that I mentioned in that email is that my mentor taught me, he said something to the effect, and he said a little bit more eloquently, but the more hoops that you have to jump through to get to success, like every hoop that you jump through, one person is being left behind along the way. And I don't like doing the thing that everybody else does. I like having blue oceans, not red oceans, that I'm operating in. Unless it's an area where I have to compete, right? But I try to find as many competitive advantages as I can in business, because if not, guys, I'm going to end up having to get into a spending contest with other people, right? I'm really big on keeping my cost per deal at a fairly low price. It's increased over the years, of course. It's not like $1,000 whenever I first started, but I like keeping it reasonable, right? You know, my wholesale fees are around 20 to 30K, but you know, if I'm spending 20K to get a deal and I'm making 20K, it's not really worth it to me. So let's see who's in the chat here, guys. So we got Noel, NS Lumbo. Is this specifically for best practices using REI Reply, or will this be applicable for any platform using 10DLC? So I haven't used all the platforms. I just use REI Reply, built on Go High Level. So I'm not going to show you guys how to do the 10DLC setup, right? If you guys want me to do that, there's a lot of moving parts there. I do it for people, right? But I'm going to show you guys, if you already have an account set up, how to optimize to make sure you don't get shut down. Because a lot of people already got approved. They just don't know how to use the tool. So I might go into just some language on my website that I have there to use REI Reply, but I set that up for people if you need that. My guy Graham, what's up, Graham? Graham was saying, "Hey, CC, what's up, guy?" My guy is in Australia, guys, so he always joins. Graham's great people, man. And then yeah, SWAT team. That's what Ryan was saying. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you all. You guys can't see this one because this is on my Facebook group. Man, I gotta share this with you now. Bob's making my day, man. Bob sleeves, man, short sleeves. Said loves me some CC. Man, appreciate you, Bob. So glad to see you, my friend. Okay, guys, so I want to go ahead and go into my REI Reply account here. Okay, the REI Reply. So I want to be going in this one here. Okay, all good. So, guys, a couple of things you need to know is that this system, it could be a little bit buggy, as you guys know, but I'm going to share with you guys really best practices I think will work on every single platform, to be honest. So, because what we're doing, guys, is we're delivering. We're only sending off 100 text messages per number per day. I'm really trying to keep that at 50. So what we have to do, guys, is this: is we set up a campaign in the morning, like 9 o'clock. We get it sent off at 9:30. We don't send messages to more than 100 users. Okay, we send messages to 100 users, and then we once that campaign finishes, we tee up another campaign, right? I may end up increasing this to 200 or 300 contacts per campaign, but I'm not going to do that right now because I've gotten blocked, right? I haven't ever had my account suspended, right? But what has happened is I've gotten my account blocked for like 8 hours, and I've had to just sit there and wait for the darn thing to, to get, what is it called, recalibrated. And then the next morning, my team were able to actually send messages off. So today, I actually need to check my team's KPIs. I think in this account, we sent off maybe like 400 messages. So I'm going to go to my contacts here. And then bulk actions. So right now we're targeting a vacant tax delinquent list nationwide. So it's actually a list that's performing pretty well for us right now. And so we sent off, so 4 campaigns, so 400 messages today. So a lot of you guys may say, well, that's not a lot of messages. Actually, 3 campaigns with, 3 campaigns with 100 messages each. So this account's just getting ramped up. As you can see, guys, we don't have that many, we don't have that many campaigns in here, right? So this is for a client of mine. I'm actually doing, I'm running his whole wholesale business for him, hiring his operations manager, acquisitions team, and his marketing team. So we're getting this one ramped up right now. Our VA, Sarah Cordova, she's great. She's been running this account for us. So we had 100 successful sent to, and the last time we sent it off, so at 4 o'clock, and then we did 2 o'clock, then we did 12 o'clock. So that's good. So 100, 100, 100. So I actually want to show you guys what this looks like on the back end. So let's go to automations. So they canceled the campaigns feature guides. They got rid of that. I think it was earlier this month. I think it was like last week, 2 weeks ago. And what we're doing is we're going into campaign workflows. And there should be a workflow already created for you guys called SMS property. It's called SMS workflow or SMS workflow or properties workflow. We renamed it to SMS properties workflow. So that's just what we named it across the board. Okay. Some of you guys may say, oh, you only sent off 300 messages. That's not a lot. Guys, this is wide open right now. Text message marketing is wide open. So I don't need to send off like 5,000 texts a day, right? Really where I'm at right now is I'm pulling very niche lists, like vacant list, tax delinquent, high equity absentee, really high equity absentee with really specific criteria on it. And I'm sending those off through text message marketing. With 500 messages sent, I could get about 5 to 7 leads a day. On another account of mine today, we sent off, I think, like 600 leads, and we got our 600 texts. We got around 8 leads. It's pretty good. And those individuals are more closer to convert, right? So I have a few accounts that I manage. I do conduct text messaging campaigns for certain people with my account, but really where I'm at right now, I feel like it's best if somebody just has their account and I go in and I manage it for them, just because I don't want my account getting flagged, right? So, and I can only send off one campaign at once. So that's important, guys. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview here. Then I'm going to type up my notes with the best practices. So don't feel like you have to, memorize all this stuff right now. I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to share with you guys what you guys should do step by step. Okay. So, so once the trigger's added in this builder, you want to assign it to a user. Guys, I have myself and my texting manager assigned to this campaign here, right? So anytime we send off a campaign or a workflow rather, because they got rid of campaigns. Anytime we have a workflow that gets triggered, what we have going on here is we have one individual, or we have two texts going out, right, per the time period we state when we set up the bulk campaign. So it's going to send off the traffic unevenly. And we want one text message to get sent out from me and one text message to get sent out from Sarah. Okay. But Sarah's managing both of these, both of the responses that come from this. I don't sit here and text owners back and forth. Basically, my account's like a ghost account. So every 60 seconds, when I set up my campaign, every 60 seconds, I'm going to have a text message that gets sent out from my account and then from Sarah's account. Each individual has their own default number, and I'll show you guys where you can configure that. Okay. So it's not like two phone numbers are getting sent per 60 seconds from one person, right? If it was just me or if it was just Sarah in here, if I had the quantity to be 2 and my bulk, when I set up my automation, then they'll both go out from the same number in every 60 seconds. So you got to think, guys, I'm doing the math over here. If you are teeing up 200 messages and there's two messages going out every 60 seconds, guys, over the course of an hour, what's that? That's going to be what, 100 messages going out? Yeah, 100 messages going out from one number in 1 hour, if my math is correct. You guys got to forgive me if my math is off here. Basically, what I'm trying to say, guys, is you don't want to reach that limit of 200 messages per day. It doesn't matter of what time frame from one phone number. We want to keep it at 100 messages or below per phone number per day. So what I do is every time we tee up a campaign, I'm changing the default number here. So I may have that these get sent from. So for the first, hour of the day or the first campaign, I may choose to send off 100 messages. And with one phone number, let's just say it's an 843 number. 843 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 gets sent off from me. And then 843 1 2 3 4 5 6 8, the second phone number, Sarah gets sent off 50 messages. So it's 50-50 each. Okay. And so if we account for responses back, let's just say each phone number gets 20 responses back. That's 50 outbound messages and then 20 inbound messages. And then let's just say we're responding back to the homeowners as well. And we respond back to 10 of them. So we have 50, 60, 70, 80. Our capacity for the whole day for one phone number will be 80. We're well below 100. Twilio may say that you can send off 200 messages per user. I think just the max capacity, including inbound and outbound messages, is 100, guys. I found that we start getting our account starts getting blocked at that level. So I would definitely keep it around that level if you want to ensure your account does not get blocked. I can't speak for custom go high level build outs, guys. I don't know what you guys are doing. I think with REI Reply, there's some built-in mechanisms in place, but with custom build outs, I really don't know. There may be some throttles here in REI Reply that's keeping me from getting my account flagged. So I know a couple of people hit me up about that. That's just outside my wheelhouse. I'm not a go high level expert. I'm an REI Reply expert. I'm as much of an expert as I need to make sure my text messages get sent off. I know back in the day, guys, when I started in 2015, it seemed like majority of my time was spent troubleshooting campaigns and technology, guys. It was annoying. I don't want to get back to that, but listen, it's needed, and I'll jump in and I'll learn these things so I can help my team out, right? I think a lot of investors want to just train other people how to do these things, but you got to be sitting in the pocket working on this stuff yourself with your team members. Now, I have other people that implement these things for me. I just tell them over chat or on like a video conference what to do, but I'm sitting in there helping them troubleshoot these issues and work through them. Okay. So that's really important to know. I'm going to go over, see if I have any comments here. If you guys have any comments or anything, or want me to clarify anything, let me know. I know I'm going through this a little bit quickly, but I think we're good to go here. Let me make sure my video is good. Okay, great. Everything looks good, guys. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, let's push forward. So before I exit the screen, I'll actually just go over like what what the flow is and like what this looks like, because I added a few things here. So the SMS, I updated. Oops, excuse me. I updated the assign to user, split the traffic unevenly, and I have 1-to-1. Right? Let's just say, guys, I might get to the point where I'm testing it now. The most I'm doing is like 4 users in one campaign, but I might get to the point where I have like 10 users, and then we could get through 100 messages in like 20 minutes. And I'll just sit there and tee up different campaigns over and over again because I have to rotate the phone numbers. Okay. I'll specify that a little bit later. I think it'll become a little bit clearer once I show you guys how to rotate the numbers and what I'm doing there. So after that, guys, I add a tag. So I have 2 tags that I add. One tag is SMS. So when I send off the SMS blast, they all automatically get flagged as SMS or tagged as SMS, right? This is just internally. You guys could, put whatever you want here. That makes sense. You can even create a new tag. I don't really see anything here that would make sense. For me, the ones that they have here that made sense was the SMS. So if it gets sent out, if it gets delivered, it gets tagged as SMS, right? That's going to be important here in a moment. And then also, too, there's another tag if they don't respond, no response. So this is actually native to the, this is a native tag to REI Reply. So if the individuals don't respond back, they're automatically tagged as no response up until they get tagged back, up until they respond back. So this is something that's happening on the back end. I don't have to configure this, which is really nice. Okay. And then this little workflow right here, it says remove from workflow. So that's, so if they have any sort of opt-out language, it'll remove them from workflow. Okay. Right. So, and it'll remove them from the current workflow. Actually, that's just at the end of the campaign. This is what it looks like here, guys. I have a team member that helps me out with this, and he back briefed me on this, but he set up this whole little back in here. Only thing I know is it works. And then the areas I really go in and I configure is the SMS and then assign a user. If you guys want to know the message I use, it's this. And I'll paste this in the chat area here for you guys. Find video. So here's a message I use. So, hi, we are highly interested in acquiring your property located at contact address. Are you open to parting ways with? Guys, please change this up a little bit. I'm sharing this with you guys because I want to share this with you. But guys, switch it up a little bit. We can't all be sending off the same text messages, right? I'm not going to sit here and take credit for like being the one to like pioneer text message marketing. But I'll be honest, guys, I do think I had a big part of it with getting the word out initially. And I showed you guys a lot of my back end processes and procedures. Guys, I'm not on a mission to become the most popular person on YouTube, Facebook, I really just want to share things with my audience. When people find me, they find me, right? Listen, guys. And so you guys are getting the sauce. But with that being said, if you guys want to maintain a competitive advantage with what I'm showing you guys here, I'm showing you guys this out of the goodness of my heart, because a lot of you guys are having trouble here. Switch up the message a little bit. You don't, you may say, oh, well, this worked for CC. Let me do this. Guys, it only works because a few people are using it. So switch it up. Actually, I want to know, once you guys do this, hey, is your message working better than mine, right? What's your delivery rates look like? Okay. You can start with it, but I really encourage you to switch it up. I don't include the individual's name, right? I include the address. And guys, make sure when you're updating your list too, all of your lists are in proper case, meaning that your property addresses are in proper case. What do I mean by that? They're not in like all caps. So when we get our list back from our skip tracing companies, they may look like this: 123 Main Street. All right. So you don't want that. You want to make sure you update your addresses to be in proper case. And that's actually the formula in Excel. And I'll show you guys what that looks like here too. So 123 Main Street. And guys, these are little tweaks that I do to ensure that my messages deliver. So, you know, some of you guys may think like, well, what's that silver bullet that's allowing CCU to get his text messages delivered with 100% delivery rates? Guys, it's little things. Guys, it's little tweaks that I do. It's not something major that I do. It's attention to detail to the little things. I'm constantly trying to make my campaigns, my systems just 1% better, right? If I'm 1% better in 50 different ways than my competitors in my system, then guys, I'm 50% better. Not literally, guys, but take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm like 50% better than the next guy. So that's what I'm really focused on, okay? So again, I'll say, you know, hi, we're highly interested in acquiring your property located at address. Are you open to parting ways with it? Okay. And then you want to make sure it doesn't look like this. It looks like this: 123 Main Street. And if your VAs are watching this, just after I give this to them, I'll actually show you guys what this looks like. Let me find a list here on how to do this. Actually, I'll just do I'll just open up a new spreadsheet here. Just a slight little detour here. Excel. So okay, open this sucker up. Get a sip of coffee. Some good stuff there. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So imagine this is you get this back from your skip tracing company, and this is the like property address, and this will be like 123 Main Street. You guys see that? Okay, looks good. 123 Smith Street. 1564 Poodle Avenue. 8959 Bailey Lane. It's my dog's name. So forth and so on. So what I'll do here is I'll just go here and I'll say equals proper, and you'll see the drop down right here. I click the first address in the field I want to change the tense to, right? From caps to proper case, right? It's not lowercase, it's proper case. And then I'll press enter. And then only thing I have to do is just click this little crosshairs down here. I have two options. I can drag it down, or I can just click the crosshairs and it'll double click and it'll just fill in all the fields there for as much that I have data, right? So if I have it all the way down there, boom, it'll fill it in. Super easy, guys. But what I'll do here, guys, is if you see I have duplicate rows here, or columns. If I delete this, it deletes the formula. So what I need to do is copy this and then paste special, paste values, and it'll actually just paste the actual values right in the rows. And then I can delete this first column. Okay. So Little things, guys. That's not going to make or break your campaign, but it's little things like that so you don't come across like a robot, you know? So just important things to keep in mind. It's not like doing everything. It's not like it's not one thing that's going to get you guys your campaigns to be functioning properly. So just remember that. It's little edits here or there. Now I would say this. I would say that there are some I think like there are some things that you could do that actually like mess up your campaigns, right? I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm about to show you guys. Really, it's if you're trying to send off 500 messages with one or two users in one workflow, right? It's a little bit tedious, guys, and this is why I'm really big on hiring VAs. You know, guys, once you close a few deals, you know, the best way to keep your momentum up is get some VAs to help you with these things, guys. This is a full-time gig, just doing this. If you have any issues with your text messaging in the day and you're sitting here trying to figure it out, well, who's going to call your hot leads? Who's going to be calling the sellers we have a contract right now that's out here in Cleveland. We're hopefully getting that thing under contract, but who's going to be following up with that person? He wants us to renegotiate or change some language in the contract. How am I going to do that and this? So you don't need a huge team, guys, but you need some people that can help you out to do these things where you can tell them what to do, show them a video like this, show your VA this video, and then they can go through these things line by line or step by step rather for you, right? That's what I'm big on. I'm big on leveraging virtual assistants. Okay, I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go back and let me know if you guys have any questions about that right there, about anything I covered, okay? And if I skipped anything, if you need me to clarify anything as well, all right? But I am going to show you guys my contacts here. So just for the sake of example, so this vacant tax delinquent list I have right here. So guys, I'm targeting a national list. So I'm just using for this list a 646 number. I'm using that's New York City. I think that's a nice like generic list. That Atlanta, San Francisco, that's where this client's from, this campaign I'm managing. He's in San Francisco, but we decided to use a 646 New York City number. And we haven't seen a decrease at all in our response rates, right? They're delivering. These people aren't getting blown up. We're targeting a very niche list. We got, I think, 4 leads today with 300 messages sent off. Those are actually qualified, guys, because really we're getting probably twice that many leads that come back and they say they're interested, but we're not considering the people that are, let's just say, wanting $1 million for their house or being sarcastic, right? They say, yeah, or yeah, I'll sell it if you give me, $500K firm and, $5,000 earnest money. Like, I'm not considering that a lead, right? Some people may consider that a lead and call it, but, it is technically a lead, but we know, and I train my team to know that those are basically jerk around leads. Those are different from cold sellers, guys. It's different from somebody who's just completely cold or somebody who's cold and may want a high price for their house, but they're reasonable, right? There's unreasonable, just dead leads. And then there's cold leads that they still may be a little bit unreasonable with their price, but you might be able to follow up with them over the course of several months and get the deal under contract. But I found a lot of texting leads, guys, are actually closer to wanting to sell and signing a contract versus cold calling leads, right? My cold calling campaigns, guys, they have not been doing really well. So what I'm doing now is I'm leading with a text and then I'm calling the seller. So like as soon as somebody comes back and says, yes, I'm interested in selling, guys, it's like immediately it goes over to our acquisitions team. Our Sarah in here or any of our texting managers has a web form. They input the information on the web form, the property address, seller's name, seller's phone number, and then they just put the sucker in investor fuse and it's done, right? The text messaging manager, really 80% of their job is just setting up the campaigns, sending them out. 20% of their job is really going through and sifting through the leads. So you really, guys, could have somebody who's not really great at communicating with homeowners because they're not really talking to them. The only people, guys, that I have my homeowners or I have my text messaging managers talk to is like a person like this. So you see this little phone thing, they called back. And so Sarah is responsible for, if they call, she'll call them back. And if she's able to get them on the phone, she'll qualify them, right? So yeah, so this person said yes, okay, right? So it looks like they wanted a, looks like they tried to call her or she tried to call them afterwards. But yeah, really, once they say yes, guys, it's like no further qualification. It just goes straight to my team, my acquisitions team. Because guys, the text messaging person isn't going to be the one following up with the lead. They're not. Who's going to be following up with the lead, guys? The person following up with the freaking lead, guys, is going to be your lead manager or acquisitions manager. So I don't want them to get buried with having to remember, oh, I need to follow up with this lead tomorrow. And then they're sending off their text message campaigns. I don't want them to do that. The more and more that you try to qualify the lead through text, guys, each text you send to seller, you have a less and less percentage chance for that individual to respond back. What are you going to do? Negotiate with the homeowner over text? Just, you already know if they say yes, you send it over to your acquisitions team. They call them just like that. There's going to be a chance that they're still on their lunch break. They're still by their phone, right? Okay. If my text message manager picks up the phone and tries to qualify them, they're going to have a lot of questions about, they may not know exactly what to say in acquisitions mode. So I don't want to waste time with the seller. I don't want the seller to get on phone with a text messaging manager. They get a text, they say yes. The text messaging manager is asking them all these lame questions. What's the square footage of the house? What's the roof look like? Bruh, nobody cares. Give that junk to the acquisitions team because he's probably going to ask the same information. And it's just unnecessary work, guys. It's an inefficient process. With cold calling, fine. Yes, you're calling that homeowner. You're reaching out to them. When you cold call them, that's your qualification. But the text message out is a qualification. So if you try to call the homeowner back after qualifying them via text, it's just going to add an extra unnecessary step. And I'm not big on fluff, guys. So it goes straight to our acquisitions team. He's the one who calls the homeowner and then attempts to negotiate with them. Okay. And then if they're not interested, the acquisitions manager puts them on a follow-up, right? My acquisitions manager, guys, they're all Filipinos. They're all VAs. Okay. That's one thing I changed this year. I really had to revamp my program and just my systems from last year because I was probably doing the same sort of process that I was doing. I was doing the same sort of process last year, well, actually from 2016 to 2022, I would say, meaning I just kept everything the same. But since text messaging got, I'm going to close this for now. Guys, since text messaging got a little bit worse over the years, and then cold calling got worse, and now text messaging looks like it's better. And then it seems like a lot of the people I was bringing on to do acquisitions weren't performing well, that were Americans. I decided, I said, hey, look, I might need to bring in some VAs to do acquisitions for me. So my VAs are the only ones that do acquisitions, right? And this is the first time I have VAs, right, doing acquisitions. Lead management, they do dispo, they do transaction coordination. My executive assistant helps out with TC a little bit, but it's mainly all VAs. Because, guys, if I'm making some deals, I might only make 10K on. If I'm bringing in an acquisitions manager, they're at, let's just say 10 to 30%, or even if I'm JVing with them 50-50, guys, I'm paying for marketing. I'm paying for all these tools and stuff. I'm doing all this stuff on the back end. You know, I'm going to be left with like 2 to 3K. I'm not doing that. And on top of that too, guys, I can't tell an American what to do. And that irks me, right? I actually saw a post, forgot who reposted it, but I liked it. And OG guy named Tom Kroll mentioned this, and it was good to see this over again on somebody else's post that they shared. But you don't partner where you can hire. That's why I'm big on hiring. A lot of investors, guys, choose to partner because they are inadequate in a certain area. I get it when you're first starting, but you trying to lean on somebody else is giving up not only your authority, is giving up your positioning, and it's giving up your power to somebody else. If you do that, you better bring in somebody else like an ops manager to start documenting your processes. So if that person leaves, you're not left not knowing what's happening or what's going on, or they may be doing something funny behind the scenes and you don't even know. I don't think the worst of people, guys, but I'll just tell you what it is and what I've seen over the years. So you don't want to partner unless you really need to, right? VAs can basically do all of this for us, but you have to have your processes in place, okay? And you see, I don't think we have any comments here. Good to go, good to go. All right, I'm going to go back to our REI Reply account over here. Let me actually figure out where I'm going to go here, and then we'll go. So dashboard. Let's go to conversations. Okay, sweet. All right, cool. All right, so like this is a lead right here. This person want 295K, fully rehab, right? I mean, we don't do creative financing, but that might be something we consider. You know, we do partner with other investors. So that's something we'll throw into the CRM, right? She's not going to respond back to that person. She doesn't. This person said, text me. Actually interested in seeing what this person said. Okay, cool, awesome. So that's somebody we'll just send straight over to our acquisitions team. Okay, so let's go to my dashboard here. I'm sorry, not dashboard, my contacts. I'm going to show you like as if I'm going to set up a campaign, what that looks like. So like I said, I'm not only doing 100 messages per day. Okay. And so if I go to my vacant tax delinquent list, you know, that SMS tag that I put in. So I don't want to double text these people, right? So what I'm going to do is go to my filters, and I'm going to do and find a tag here. I'm basically going to say the tag is not SMS. And what this is going to do is show me all the prospects I have available to message out, okay? Cool. Perfect. All right, awesome. So I have 1,100 more on this list to message out, which is cool. And also too, you'll know you won't have messaged them if it doesn't say last activity. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click. Let's just say this is Monday or Wednesday morning tomorrow. I'm going to do page size 100. Click this sucker right here, and I'm going to add these 100 records to an automation. I'm going to do add to automation. All right, guys, you gotta bear with me. It's running a little bit hot over here on my computer. I'll minimize some of my tabs here. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, it's gonna say, hey, add the following contacts, yada yada yada. Okay, proceed. And if you guys could hear, my computer is running like a V8 F1 car over here. It is loud. Okay, so the automation type will be a workflow. The workflow will be the SMS campaign workflow, our properties workflow. And I'm going to do add and drip mode. So it's going to drip them out. And I'm going to choose how many messages get sent out. So this is going to trigger that workflow I have over that I just showed you guys. So I'm going to do action, and that action will be, this isn't really relevant to the performance of your campaign, but I might just say vacant text delinquent list 31 May 2024. Okay. Let me say like 9:30 a.m. campaign. 9:30 a.m. So I'll start it on. So when I'm setting this stuff up, I'll usually start it like 5 to 10 minutes after I'm setting it up, just to, if I see anything that I did incorrectly, I can catch it. I can always pause the campaign as well. So I'll do 1, okay, and then I'll do 9:30 a.m. And guys, remember, you can only set up one campaign. You can only do one campaign at once, okay? Very important to remember this, okay? Start on Wednesday, May 1st, 2024, correct. Now, guys, the batch quantity. So you see on the workflow that I created, I had 2 individuals there, right? So the most I can send off in a batch quantity is 2. This specifies the actual repetition, or the what's a better phrase? What is a better phrase for what I'm trying to say? This specifies the frequency that the messages will be going out. So if I do 60 seconds, that's what I do. It's going to send 2 messages off every 60 seconds. Okay, for this whole campaign, but it's going to send 1 from my account, 1 from Sarah's, 1 from my account, 1 from Sarah's. So starting at 9:30 tomorrow, the first individual, let's just say Marquil Hickson, 9:30 will come from me. Adrian Hoffman, it'll come from Sarah at 9:30. 9:31, Chad Humphreys will come from me. Huff Hines looks like his name. Talisha Greer, 9:31, it'll come from Sarah. So I'll do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Sarah's monitoring both of the campaign, or both of the accounts, right? So my account's just in there to make sure that there's no more than 50 messages that are getting sent out per number, because each of us have a default number. So before I do this, I usually change the default number. So I'm actually going to show you guys what that looks like. If everything looks good, I'll go ahead and I'll just say, hey, add an automation. I'm not going to do this because Sarah's going to set this up in the morning. I don't want to mess up her flow. But that's what I'll do there. Guys, in another account, I have 4 going out, and we have 4 accounts in one workflow, right? I'm going to get to the point where I have 10 accounts in one workflow, but I'm trying to work myself up to there gradually. Okay. I've been doing well, really, guys, for the last, really 6 months. I've just been doing 500 messages a day because it's really just been me, I manage a couple other people's accounts. So it's with my account, and I have a few JV partners, but I'm actually working on doing campaigns for people now, investors. So I want to replace my cold calling campaigns I was doing for people with cold texting, and then do the call after that. So it's like cold calling 2.0. So that's what I'm going to be doing going forward. But for now, I'm just doing this because I want to be able to send off like 1,000 messages in like an hour. Okay, so batch quantity will be 2, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, X that sucker out. But if I was ready to go, I would send that out. Now, guys, I want you guys to navigate to settings, my staff. When you go to my staff, guys, you're going to have you're going to see all the people here, right? Here's myself, and then here's Sarah. So, guys, this is tedious, but like I said, if you want to do this correctly and properly, this is what it is. We were spoiled, guys. we were spoiled with text message marketing, how it was back in the day. But you got to think, if somebody's new doing this is going to seem normal. Like if they just started wholesaling today and saw this video, they're going to be like, oh, that's just what I have to do. Think about how cold calling was back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. You'd call people at freaking 11 o'clock at night. I mean, there were really no standards or laws centered around it for the industry, regulating that industry. Okay. So it was a Wild West for a little bit. So guys, the way I look at it is great. Hey, we had our fun, but they regulated some things, and I'm just going to adjust to the times. I'm not going to complain. You might hear me be frustrated sometimes with the tools, but it's all for the better. Really, guys, it really cleansed a lot of the junk out of this texting space, because I know texting was one of my main channels that I did whenever I first started. And then just over the years, I had to send off more and more text messages to get fewer and fewer responses back. I finally stopped it in, I think it was early 2022, late 2021, when I noticed that I sent off like 5,000 messages in ROAR with a brand new list every day. It was for like 3 weeks. Guys, I wasn't even getting one qualified lead back a day, barely. And it was a good list that I was targeting. And I said, I already saw the writing on the wall, and I saw more and more people getting in the industry. So I just stopped. So, you know, what for me, the best marketing channel is the one that's like the least competitive, but it's push marketing, right? You guys won't really hear me talk about PPC or anything like that. Nothing against it, but my bread and butter is push marketing, cold calling, direct mail, voicemail drops, text message marketing. Is because, I can anticipate how many messages I send off, or how many calls I get, how many leads I'll get. And other people may say the same thing with PPC, but I've been tracking my KPIs for like almost 6 years. And so I just know what to expect. And so it's just what I'm comfortable with. So, teach their own, but I really like push marketing. Okay, so what we want to do here, guys, is we want to be changing our number every single campaign we send out. So for this one, this is outbound SMS number 6, right? This is a number that we set up. And in the morning, we'll rotate it again, because she did one last campaign. And so last campaign, she did 3 campaigns today. She does 2 numbers per campaign, 2, 4, 6. So she was on the 6th number. So in the morning, we'll just go back and we'll start it all over again. Outbound SMS number 1. So we'll assign that to her account, save. And then I'll go to my account, or she'll go to my account, and then she'll go to outbound SMS number 2. Right? So she'll have 1, I'll have 2. Let me just make sure that's correct. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I knew something looked funky. So she has outbound SMS number 1. I have outbound SMS number 2. Okay, perfect. So when we send off the first campaign, we'll send it off. And then once that gets sent off, guys, when we're ready to start the next campaign, we'll go and add in another 100 contacts. And then I'll change the number from outbound SMS number 2 to outbound SMS number 3. And then I'll save it. And then on her account, we'll name it to outbound SMS number 4. So each time we send off automation, guys, we have to change a number. And so if we're only sending 100 messages out to 100 contacts, guys, what's going to happen is that every 100 messages, 50 phone numbers are going to be from outbound SMS number 1, and then 50 messages will get sent off from outbound SMS number 2. Okay? We're well below 200. That Twilio says. And for me, I want to stay well below 100. And I'll just do 50 outbound messages for 1 number over 24 hours. Guys, we can buy how many other numbers we want. So I can buy like 50 numbers and just rotate them. So if I want to send off, in theory, if I want to send off like 1,000 messages a day, I would just need to go through, if I wanted to have 10 ghost accounts, and that's what Twilio or REI Reply calls them. They call them ghost accounts, where these you simply just have the number for sending off the messages. If I do 100 divided by, so if I'm doing 210, and then, I mean, honestly, if I have 10 accounts and I'm doing 100 contacts, really, guys, every 10 minutes, I could get out a campaign in theory. So that's really what I'm working towards, is like, hey, have 10 accounts, 10 phone numbers, change all 10, send off 100 messages in 10 minutes, and then send off another one. They have to be concurrent. I mean, sorry, they're not, I think concurrent's the right word. They can't be, you can't send them simultaneously. You can't send them all at once. So you have to wait till one campaign ends, workflow ends, and then you start the next one. One workflow ends, you start the next one. Because if not, you'll risk, you won't have an opportunity to change the phone numbers. So that's our workaround right now, guys. I mean, seriously, it's not ideal. You know, it's not like something I want to do, but it's working, right? It's working, and we're not getting blocked, right? We've come across a few issues, but for us, that's what's working the best for us right now. Okay. Let me see if I have any questions here. What questions do you guys have? All right, Graham. Hey, great seeing you, my friend. Always, always. Guys have any questions on that? I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an overview just on a document here that you guys can follow. So anybody that does watch the replay, you can screenshot it or keep it on your end, okay? So I'm going to quickly wrap this up here. Don't want to make this too long. Okay, so we do have a question from, yeah. So good question. Adrian said, I experienced error 30033, which means SMS campaign has suspended, not the usual 24-hour suspension. Okay. Can you give me a little bit more particulars on your account? Were you using REI Reply? How long did you have your account? And then what were you doing at the time? Were you sending off like 1,000 messages a day? What language were you using in your text messages as well? And I'll help you diagnose that. Guys, I've been lucky where I haven't had any suspensions yet. And but if not, guys, I'll just create a new LLC and do it all over again. Or either maybe go in another like knockoff REI Reply account. So I'm going to do and just okay, so use REI Reply. When I encounter that, managing 10 sub accounts as well. I've been sending 900 to 1K plus per sub account. Okay, so you're managing 10 sub accounts as well. Hey, in one REI Reply account, did you have all these sub accounts? Because if so, high level will look at the, one second. Because if so, high level will look at the total volume for the one account, right? So they'll add up all the volume for the sub accounts and add that to the total account. When was this, Adrian? Was this this year? Was it after October of last year? Gonna go on diagnostic mode here, guys. Okay, so before we were able to send 1,000 plus per sub account, but I think Twilio has been more strict. They have just recently, last March. So okay, so you're talking about 2024, if I'm correct, right? March 2024. So what I'm thinking here is like before you were able to send 1,000 plus per sub account. Yeah. So if you honestly, what might have happened, you might have gotten caught up in being able to do the same things before, and then you got caught, right? I can't really speak on this because I've only started doing this really. I haven't been pushing the maximum at all, just because I didn't want to get my account banned nor my clients' accounts banned. So I've really been stepping into this gingerly. So I think what you've been experiencing is like, yeah, this is a lot, right? Be able to send 1,000 plus per sub account. Yeah, so you're talking about over 10,000 messages a day, right? So you're probably sending off 10,000 messages per day. Because if you are, man, that's quite a bit. And hey, how did your account look? Was it were you using one phone number for all campaigns? Yeah, that's an interesting error. Yeah. Hey, were you using one phone number for all your campaigns? Like, how often were you just setting up the campaigns in the morning and then just sending them out for the whole day? Because that's what we were doing before, guys. We were able to do that with Roar. Now we can't, right? 10 phone numbers, and it was rotating through the phone numbers. But were you just setting up one campaign, Adrian? Like in the morning? And I guess just to chime in is that I think just now, guys, when you start it, don't go full throttle. And if you're going to do this, one of the best practices I would give you is targeting a very niche list, right? We even target leads that were cold or warm from like a year ago in our CRM, and then we message them. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. So I created automation to alternate messages that are being sent with drip 1 SMS per minute. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I think it just might have been high volume in your account. Okay. I think it might have just been high volume. Guys, so here's what I'm doing with some of the people I'm working with. We have Smarter Contact as a backup, right? We have REI Reply, and then we have a couple other different texting tools as well that we might rotate in to be able to do bulk texting. Let's just say they want to get to 2,000 messages a day, right? We may have one person who has a Smarter Contact account, REI Reply account, and then Drop Cowboy account, right? That has the ability to send off text messages. So, guys, for now we have to experiment, right? I may come back to you guys in a month, and things may be different. Okay, I may have a completely different outlook on this after I do a little bit more research on it. So I don't have all the answers, guys, right? So I call this an emergency meeting, right? I'm sharing what's working with me in real time, right? I know I've looked into this a lot. I do this all day, right? Where I'm troubleshooting these tools. I have a lot of different accounts that I'm able to gain insights from, and then give that information to you all. So, right, I'm not by any means perfect at this, but I would say that I have had, I think I figured out a healthy workaround. So, maybe you could take some of these things I shared with you guys and then incorporate it in your business, right? If it doesn't work, don't do it. But if it does, by all means, do it. So I'm going to share a little document with you guys. I'll just start making some notes here so you guys can take this with your team. Share my screen. So Adrian, yeah, that's unfortunate to hear. So was your account permanently suspended, and have you tried to sign up with Smarter Contact or a similar tool? Okay, so here's some best practices, guys. Okay, only send off one message. Let me make sure my font looks good. I'll maximize this. Okay. Only send off one. Let me close out. REI Reply is taking up a lot of bandwidth. Okay, only send off one. No, let me rephrase this. Use one phone number per every 24 hours. No more than 50 messages outbound per day per phone number. So guys, only use one phone number per every 24 hours, right? No more than 50 messages outbound per day per phone number. Okay. Only have one campaign going at once. Important. So only have one campaign going at once. No more than yeah, that's it. That's it. Right. Period. Only have one campaign. I'm going to say workflow, to use the correct terminology, going at once. No more than that, guys. If your account's new, only send off 100 messages per workflow campaign. So if my account's new and I'm just getting familiar with all this, guys, I know the temptation is going to be to send off 5,000 text messages, at once. Guys, send off 100 messages per workflow per campaign. Okay. Another thing I said was this: you want to be use the proper case in your addresses. So don't have your addresses in all caps. Okay. It just looks like a robot. And guys, we already have opt-out language and we need that. So we don't want to make it look more like a robot. Okay. Always use opt-out language. It's tempting not to, but it's best not to get your account spammed. Not to get your account banned. Okay. All right. So off the top of my head, those are the main takeaways that I would do. Okay. So you want to only use one phone number per every 24 hours, no more than 50 messages outbound per day per phone number. Guys, you want to rotate your phone numbers I'll put this here as well. Rotate your phone numbers every 24. I'm sorry, not every 24. Every time you send off a campaign workflow. So new campaign, new default number for all users in the workflow. It's tedious, but necessary. Okay. All right, so let's see what my guy said here. So we tried smarter contact launch control, but it's quite expensive. It is. Question is that how to lift the suspension because even go high level does not respond to ticket. My friend, that's outside my wheelhouse. I can't tell you. If I might do some research on it, right? Because I'm more of like the type of person where I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I might prepare for that. I might do some research on it, but it hasn't happened to me yet. But I'll actually make a note on that and just see if I can do some research there for you. Okay. And if so, I'll comment underneath here. You're on Facebook, so I'll comment on this post and then tag you. So let me see if I can see you on here. I think you're on my profile. So that's what I'll do. If I find the answer and I'll look around, I'll do that. It's already been difficult enough just trying to get this darn thing functioning properly, you know. Um, but yeah, I got you, Adrian. So hey man, that's really frustrating. I really wish I had a better answer for you, my friend. Like I said, I'm by no means an expert on this. Uh, really, I don't like giving out incomplete information, but I do think it's necessary to get this out because I was getting a lot of feedback just from my emails and then from my Facebook group regarding this topic. So if I find out an answer for you or just a workaround, I'll let you know. Okay. It might be one of those things where listen, I know there's a lot of other go high level like knockoffs out there. Somebody sent me one. Man, I cannot remember the name of it. I was actually searching for it last night, but they're built off of high level. I'm sorry, they're like REI Reply like lookalikes, but they have a little bit more functionality. From my understanding, you can only set up one REI Reply account per LLC, but that doesn't mean if you don't do another software company that's built on Go High Level that does text blasting, you can't get registered with them as well. So there's other companies that look just like REI Reply, but they're built on Go High Level. They do batch texting, slightly different functionality, but you might be able to register your LLC with them. Okay, if you were able to get registered with Smarter Contact, I don't see an issue with you getting registered with another one of these REI Reply accounts. I've never used Launch Control. I have a client that uses Smarter Contact, and it's buggy, guys. We get so many invalid numbers. I like REI Reply, and plus you get Twilio pricing. It's 1/3 of a cent per message. I really like that. So, and I'm all about having one tool I can use, right, guys? I'd much rather be an expert on one than a master of many. I don't have a huge workflow or a huge tech stack over here. I focus on what works, and then I go all in on what works, and then I try to figure out all the nuances, ins and outs of it. Okay, so I'll definitely keep you updated if I find out an answer for that. Okay, Adrian, it's great feedback. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any other questions before I go off here? Or if you guys have any sort of topics you want me to cover going forward, let me know. Guys, I try to hop on here whenever I can. Like probably once a month. I'll try a little bit more, but my priority, guys, I'm in the business. So I operate more of like a chief operations officer for several investment companies. So pretty much my whole day is spent answering VA questions, training my team members, putting out fires, things like that. So I try to keep my audience updated, but sometimes, guys, the month gets away from me. So, but when I do come back, I really want to try to provide value. So if you guys have any things you want me to cover, any topics, any areas where you are struggling with, let me know, and then I'll put a training together. Okay, if my schedule permits. Thanks to everybody who joined. I will chat with you guys later. Okay. Hope you guys have a great night.